Hi everybody. Today we started our partial quotient journey, which I know can be scary. So I wanted to post a video just in case you're a student who needs some extra help or a parent who's wondering what in the world partial quotients are and how we do it. Because let's get serious, it is confusing. But hopefully after you're done with this video, you'll be a little bit more confident and it won't look as scary as what it seems like it could be. Just keep in mind, we're breaking up this division into basic facts. So this is a strategy based on place value. We're just pulling out basic facts and then accounting for place value by using zero place value holders. I'm gonna do 3 different practice problems, I think all of which we did for class in our notes today, which were actually thought up of by the students collaborating. So they'll be seeing these notes again. And just keep in mind that we are going to be practicing for multiple days. So I don't expect you guys to get this right away. We're going to be practicing. If you do need extra help, please make sure that you come to me and let me know so that I can give you your help, okay? We are going to start with a problem that I am going to do a lot of explaining on. The second one I won't do as much, and then the third one I'm just going to do very quickly, straight through. So feel free to bounce around, or if you just want to watch the first one and then be done, or go straight to the last one, be my guest. Hopefully this video will help you. Our first problem that we're looking at is 5,916 divided by 4. We've been practicing making tic-tacs in class, which is a strategy to get the first 9 multiples of our divisor organized and honestly out of the way, because that's going to take a lot of guesswork out of when we're doing our division. So what I mean by tic-tac is that you take your divisor, in this case 4, that's the number that we're dividing by, and we're going to make a tic-tac-toe board and write out the first 9 multiples of 4. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, and 36. So there's the first 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. After that, we are going to make a big 7, and that's a way to organize partial quotients.
Ms. Hunsinger, would you please come to the front office or call the front office?
So we have our partial quotients that we're going to be listing on the right side. And then we're going to be taking groups of our divisor out of our dividend right here. So this side is going to be for subtraction, and this side will be for all of the parts of a quotient. At the end, we will add them together to get the whole quotient. Starting off, always look at the very first number in your dividend. That's the largest place value. And if it is larger than what the dividend is, we're going to stop there and use just the number 5. So if we're trying to think of which multiple of 4 gets us as close as possible to 5 without going over, we need to look at our tic-tac. And 5 is right between the 4 and the 8 here. We can't use 8 because we don't have 8 to divide up. We only have 5. So we can only use the 4 in this situation. So in order to get to 4, we are multiplying 4 by 1. And we are always multiplying by the divisor over in this list. 4 times 1 is 4, but that 4 is in the thousands place. So that's where our 0 place value holders are to account for those place values. 1, 2, 3. If I put 3 here, I need 3 over here. And if you think about it, 4 times 1,000 gets you 4,000. So we're going to take 1,000 groups of 4 away from 5,916. When we subtract that all out, we're left with 1,916. One of the students in class was confused about the second part here because we're going to kind of forget now about this 5,916. So in order to help, we started covering that part up today in class. I just cut up a sticky note and put the sticky side here so that we can kind of forget about that now, because this is our new dividend. We're going to start with our 1,916 and we're going to divide that by 4, or see how many groups of 4 we can take out of that new dividend. So again, we're going to look at that largest place value. Since 4 is larger than 1, we cannot divide 1 by 4. So we're going to look at the 19. On our tic-tac, our 19 will fall between the 16 and the 20. So again, we can't use the 20 because we don't have 20 to divide up into 4. So we're going to use the 16. And in order to get to that 16, we are multiplying that 4 by 4. And that's the basic fact that we just pulled out, 4 times 4. Again, we have 0 place value holders. So since we have 2 there, we need 2 there. Notice that I am lining up by place value so that at the end, when I have all of my partial quotients listed, I can just go straight into adding. We're going to subtract 1,600 away from 1,916. So we will be left with 316. From there, we can cover this up because we are done. We've already taken our groups of 4 out. So we're going to now look at 316. Again, the largest place value is a 3, which is less than the 4. So we need to look at 31. On our tic-tac, our 31 is going to be located between 28 and 32. So again, we need to use that 28. The 28 is the 7th multiple of 4. So we're going to put our 7 there. And if you don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Since that 28 is in the 7th box, it's the 7th multiple. So 4 times 7 is 28. Your 28 comes down here, and then 1 0 here means 1 0 needs to be over here. Subtract that away. Don't forget to borrow when needed. That's 3. So we're left with 36 now. And since we have already taken all of our groups away from that 316, we're just looking at the 36. Now we need to know, since 3 is less than 4, how many times 4 can go into 36 without going over. Luckily, as you can see right here, 36 is actually on the tic-tac. That means it's a multiple of 4. So it's the 9th box, meaning 4 times 9 gets us exactly 236. We love it when that happens because when we subtract that out, we are left with 0. What that means is that 1, we're done with the division process, but 2, we don't have anything left over. That means there's no remainders. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 partial quotients, meaning 4 parts of the quotient. We're going to add them together to get to the whole quotient. 9, 7, 4, and 1. Now that we're done with this part, I can take my little covers off. And then if we write this down up here, we just need to place the digits in the correct place value. So since this one is in the thousands place, it needs to come over the thousands place in your dividend right here. And the 4 is in the hundreds, so that needs to go over the 9. The 7 needs to go over the 1 for the tens place, and then the 9 stays in the ones place. So 5,916 divided by 4 equals our quotient 1,479. Our next example, we have 9,832 divided by 6. So again, we're going to start with our 6 tic-tac just to take that guesswork of the largest multiple that we can get to without going over away. We have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. And this is a great way too, if you don't already know your multiples, Like, you don't have to keep counting every time with your counting numbers. You can just count once and then write it down, and then you don't have to continue to do that every time. Plus, if you have another division problem with a divisor of 4 after this one, you already have your 4 multiples written out, so you don't need to continue to write them every time for every assignment. You can just keep them and then you'll have them. So for this one, we are going to just make that big 7. And then I just like to label PQ over here so I know that these are the parts of the quotient that I need to add up afterwards. So first, how many times can 6 go into 9 without going over? Just once, because if you do 6 times 2, that gets you to 12, which is larger than 9. So we have to use that 6 there. So 6 times 1 gets us to 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then here are my zeros. Subtract that out. And we're left with 3,832. Start all over again. 6 is larger than this 3, so we need to look at that 38. Looking at our tic-tac, we can get to 36, but if we add 6 more to that, we get to 42. So we have to stop at that 36, which is going to be 6 times 6. And we have 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't forget to line up by place value. And then subtract that out. And we are left with 232. Now we're ready to start all over again. 6 cannot go into 2, so we're going to look at 23. Even though 24 is closer to 23 than 18 is, we still need to do the lesser multiple. So we'll stick with 18, and we go 6 times 3 gets us to 18. And then we need our 0 here, so that's 1 0 over here as well. And then we need to subtract it out. Don't forget, you cannot do 3 minus 8, so don't forget about that borrowing. That's going to be 52. From there, again, we are ready to start all over. 6 goes into 5. We can't do that, so we need to look all the way at the 52. 54 is over 52. 48 is that first one less than that, so we will use 48, which is 6 times 8. Six times 8 is 48. So subtract that out. And we are left with 4. Since this is not 0, and it is less than 6, and there's no other digit for us to look at, that means that we are done with our division, but since this is not a 0, we have that left over, meaning it is a remainder. So let's add our partial quotients. We have 8 here, and we have 3, and then 6, 1. So 1,638 is our quotient, but we also have that remainder of 4 that we really can't do anything with. So again, when you're writing these up here, the 1 goes over the 9 since that's in the thousands place, and then 638. And the remainder the remainder 4 just kind of goes off to the right here. So 9,832 divided by 6 is 1,638, remainder 4. All right, the last example that I would like to do is 6,921 divided by 8. If you want, you can pause the video and challenge yourself, and then press play when you're done and check and see how you do. But for now, I'm just going to start with my 8 tic-tac. Now I'm all organized with my multiples. Now I'll do my big 7. And then I will start taking groups of 8 out of 6,921. Since that is smaller than my divisor, I need to look at the total 69. 8 times 8 gets me to 64. 0, 0, 0, 0. That leaves me with 521. I cannot do 5 divided by 8, so I need to look at 52 divided by 8. 48 is the closest I can get to that. So that's going to be 48 right there. 1, 0, 1, 0. Subtract that out. We cannot do 2 minus 8, so do not forget to borrow. Okay. And then 4 cannot be divided by 8, so we need to look at 41. 40 is the closest that we can get, and you get there by multiplying 8 times 5 to get to 40. Subtract that out, and we are left with 1. Since we can't do anything with that 1, that means that it is a remainder. So add up your partial quotients. You get 865 with a remainder of 1. Don't forget about place value. That 8 needs to go above this 9. Don't put it above the 6 because that's telling us that it is in the thousands place. But it's not, it's in the hundreds. So your answer for 6,921 divided by 8 is 865 remainder 1. I hope this video helps. Give me some feedback and let me know what you think.